So, Deadlock has been feeling really weird over the past couple of weeks. They've been doing a lot of hidden matchmaking and rank changes under the hood to try and improve the feel of the game, and, well, it's had its ups and downs, to say the least, and a lot of people have been talking about strange things happening with the matchmaking system, such as jumping up a whole bunch of ranks, or going down ranks despite still doing reasonably well. It's all just been rather mystifying. And I've also been experiencing my fair share of weirdness regarding the matchmaking too, especially in my streams this last week. Something just isn't feeling quite right. So in this video, I kind of just want to talk about what's been going on with the matchmaking recently and share my own anecdotes as well of just some absolute bonkers stuff that's been happening, because I think it's fair to say matchmaking is not good right now. Just straight up, I don't think it's doing a very good job, and I want to hear from you as well. So please comment down below and share your own experiences about your own weird matchmaking anomalies and strange stuff happening with your rank, things like that, because yeah, it just seems like things have been more unusual than usual right now, so let's just get into it. So first of all, it is clear that despite not actually publicly mentioning much about the matchmaking changes, that they have been testing out a whole host of different things over the past couple of weeks. There's actually a post from Yoshi a couple of days ago on the Deadlock Discord server, one of the rare times this dude actually decides to talk, and he's responding to someone discussing strategies around trying to maximize your score in order to rank up as much as possible through these various metrics that he thinks they're measuring in the background. Because basically there's been a lot of speculation that, well, if you do a lot of things well in your match, whether it's good movement or good item usage or efficient building or anything like that, that your rank is going to go up more, and that's going to start having some weight in regarding to your overall rank and not just the wins and losses anymore. And so what Yoshi ended up saying is, I wouldn't try optimizing doing anything beyond just what it takes to win. Recently, we've been experimenting with different ways to try detecting smurfs, account buyers, or players at significantly wrong MMR values, and we've had some days recently that were especially not calibrated well, but in general we aren't actively trying to reward normal players much beyond just winning or losing. It'll take a bit more time to properly calibrate and factor everything in, but it's something we are currently working on to minimize its impacts in normal, even games. So it's clear that they are measuring certain stats and certain other gameplay elements behind the scenes, but this is more so focused on detecting smurfs, players who are buying accounts, or players at significantly wrong MMR values. And so if your rank has violently adjusted up or down in the past couple of weeks, this is probably why. Either your account was at just the total wrong MMR value, or you might have just played a lot on one of those days where the system wasn't calibrated properly. And so this is a big reason why matchmaking has felt so bad recently. And I think Yoshi's post does serve to dispel some of the rumors that you need to be prioritizing like moving really quickly around the map or spamming your active items as much as you can or anything like that to try and boost your elo in the back end. It's just not really what they're trying to design the system for right now, and it is a tricky thing to try and design a good matchmaking and ranking system when you have as many complicated factors as Deadlock. A lot of people will make the argument that, well, Deadlock should take into account your personal performance in a match to either raise your elo more for a win or reduce your elo less for a loss. And there are some genuinely good reasons why that would be a good idea, but at the same time, there are a lot of abstract things in Deadlock that can determine the outcome of a match that just don't get represented in stats at all. For example, you could be playing Dynamo and just have absolute stinker stats. Your damage sucks, you've died a lot, you don't have a lot of kills, and your healing sucks too. But because you hit one really good singularity at the right time, your team ends up winning the game. And that will not be reflected in the scorecard at all, and as a matter of fact, it kind of looks like you just sucked the whole game, but you were still critical towards achieving the win. So it's things like that that make such a system really hard to implement. A standard system where you just gain a certain amount of elo when you win and lose a certain amount of elo when you lose is a lot more rudimentary and probably not as accurate, but it is at least simpler to understand why you're ranking up and ranking down, and I do think there is value in that. Of course, the actual system is, as we know now, much more complicated than that, and I think they will strike the right balance eventually of determining how much these back-end stats influence your rank going up or down depending on a match. But for now, yeah, it's just real stinky, and I want to show you two matches that are kind of the flip side of the same coin that I've been experiencing a lot these past couple of weeks, where they're just horribly imbalanced matches. So this first match here was any turn is one game. I was playing Lady Geist, doing a lot of damage, as Lady Geist does. I got key player on my team, but we ended up losing this game, and it's because this match was never on fair footing. The enemy team had 6 pretty solid players, you know, none of them were doing particularly bad or anything, they were all contributing, doing well. It seemed like they all belonged in any turn as one game. And on our team, we had 5 players who were doing pretty good, and then there was one player who very clearly did not belong even remotely close to any turn is one game. Now, I want to make it very clear. I am not flaming this person. There's nothing wrong with being worse at the game relative to other players. Everyone is going to be at a different stage in their Deadlock development, so that's why I have this person's name blotted out. I don't want to direct any hate towards them. It's not really their fault that we lost this game. It's the fault of the matchmaking algorithm for putting them on our team, because, like, it doesn't matter what rank you are. If the matchmaking algorithm decides to put you in a match that's significantly above your skill level, yeah, you're just gonna do bad, and, you know, that just kind of, it is what it is, right? But the fact remains that, yeah, the matchmaking algorithm just completely screwed up here. This person very obviously did not deserve to be at this rank. I'll put up one of their plays on the screen here. We were begging and pleading with this person not to do a mid contest. They just kind of ignored us, dropped down into the mid-boss pit, parried air, and then died. We were all just baffled, like, huh?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Paige, get out. You're not gonna do anything here. You're just throwing your life away.
Headed this way.
Like, what's the plan there?
Just don't bother with the Paige.
And so the matchmaking algorithm clearly just, I don't know, it had a brain fart. Something went kaput and gave us a very poor quality match because the teams just were not evenly matched. There was one player who should have been in a lower rank lobby, and yeah, I have no idea how this match even got put together that way. Now, there is one theory that my chat proposed later on after the match, and it was that this person was in a party with one of the other people on my team because they had a similar name to someone else in the match. And that could very well be, in which case it wasn't necessarily matchmaking that broke, it was just, holy crap, we have like, I would assume either like an Eternus 5 or 6 player partying with someone who is significantly lower elo, and it just decides to even it out at Eternus 1, but it's just it's not really good for either of the people involved. Matchmaking with parties is another really difficult thing for a matchmaking algorithm to deal with, and it's another one of those things that, as much as the devs can try, they can never fully solve partying being an issue in these types of games. The best thing they can try to do is just to put, you know, parties of 6 people or 5 people up against other parties of 6 people or 5 people to try and fix the matchmaking. And I believe Deadlock does specify when you're in a match that has poorer matchmaking because of these parties in it. I seem to remember that from back when we were queuing in big parties on my streams to try and get the new heroes. But, yeah, it's such a tough thing for matchmaking to deal with, and so that could be the cause of some of your especially wild matches where things just feel really askew. But on the flip side, we have this match here, which is an Eternus 4 game, where I was playing Calico, and I was getting just blatantly hard carried by multiple of the people on my team. Warden was crazy, Mina was crazy, Yamato was doing good too. But take a look at this soul gap. Let me move my camera. We had a 100,000 soul gap in Eternus 4. What? What do you mean by this? That's especially bad. That's a really hard diff. Like, normally, teams win by like 30, 40k souls. 100k soul gap is just absurd. These guys were smoking him. I was kind of just along for the ride, just sitting there doing my thing on Calico. I was playing against a really bad comp for Calico, by the way. So, and yeah, these guys were just absolutely steamrolling. Now, apparently, both teams were around Eternus 4, judging by the Eternus 4 badges on both of these teams. But based on how the match went, I don't know if it was comp diff or what. I mean, Dynamo, Mina, and Warden are all really strong right now, so that could be the case. But regardless, like, holy crap. That is some steamrolly matchmaking right there, and it's kind of the flip side of the coin that people don't like to talk about as much. It feels really bad when you're on the losing end of bad matchmaking, but when you're on the winning end, people seem to just kind of forget that bad matchmaking exists. And so I think it's important to highlight a stomp such as this, where I'm on the winning team, to show that, yeah, it does happen in reverse, and sometimes you just go up against teams that, yeah, that just stink. And the matchmaking just glitched once again and did not create an even game. And to be honest, it feels like a lot of the matches that I play right now are kind of stompy like this, where I either just lose or win, and there's not a whole lot of back and forth. One of the teams has the sauce in order to win, and the other one doesn't. And I don't really know what's up with it at the end of the day. I'm sure part of it is the matchmaking and rank algorithm and all the tweaks that they've been doing behind the scenes for that. Another part of it could genuinely just be the meta that we're in right now, with certain characters just being really strong, and so if you have more of those characters on your team, you just win. I don't know. Could also be the case. I don't like to put that much stock into it because, you know, player performance also is a very big factor into who wins, and you can have really good characters on your team and still get smoked if you guys aren't coordinated, you're not macroing well, etc. So, you know, I do think the meta also has a part to play, but I think it's just a combination of a lot of these different factors that has left the matchmaking feeling particularly worse than usual. And so, yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it to you. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you agree that matchmaking has felt just kind of bad lately? Or am I just having a particularly bad anecdotal experience? Oh gosh, wouldn't that suck? So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.